Hello everybody, this is Miss Nancy at the Clearview Library District, and I am doing Clearview Homeschoolers Academy today. We do Clearview Homeschoolers Academy once a month, and we try to do some themes around art, science, STEM, sometimes just having fun, okay? So today we are going to do Got Milk, and I'm going to start by telling you a milk joke, okay? What do you get when you have a cow and a duck? What do you think? You get milk and quackers. Okay? Maybe some of you figured that out. Okay, I'm going to tell you a few fun facts about milk. Okay, it's something most of us drink. Some people don't, and that's okay if you don't. U.S. dairy farms produce 21 billion gallons of milk every year. Okay, that's a lot of milk. And the average American person drinks 5 gallons a year. So each of us drink 5 gallons of milk if you're a milk drinker. Okay? So it's kind of interesting. Milk gives us some particular nutrients that we really need in our diets, and one of them is calcium. And if you were to drink an 8-ounce cup of milk, which is about this much in this cup, so it's not very much, you would need to eat 1/4 of a cup of broccoli, or 7 oranges, or 6 slices of wheat bread to get as much calcium as you get in this little bitty cup of milk. Okay? So milk's pretty important for its calcium. And calcium gives us strong bones and teeth, so it's really important. It also has a lot of B vitamins and potassium and D vitamins and a lot of other really good stuff. Okay? Now, another ingredient in milk is protein. And one of our experiments that we're doing today with milk has to do with the protein in milk. And milk gives us, helps us with growth and development and building muscles. So it's an important part of milk also. Okay, so that's the protein. Milk also has fat in it. Now today, when we use our milk, that hopefully you put in the refrigerator, there it is, we're using whole milk. And believe it or not, all of our bodies need some fat. So the fat in milk is not necessarily bad for us. But if you don't want as much fat as whole milk, then you could use 1% or 2% or skim milk and they have less fat. Okay? I'm talking about the fat because one of our experiments or our projects we're doing today has to do with the fat in milk. Okay? Now, not everybody can drink milk. Some people can't digest the lactose, which is the sugar in the milk, and so those people might choose to drink a different kind of milk, like almond milk or coconut milk or that kind of thing. Before we get started, I have one more joke for you. Okay? What did one dairy cow say to her friend, the other dairy cow? Got milk? Okay, well, we've got milk, so let's get started. Okay, I'm going to go through what is in your kit and also what you need to have from your kitchen at home. Okay, so first of all, get your milk out of the refrigerator when you're ready to do the experiment. You might want to watch everything first and not try to do it while we're talking. Okay, you're definitely going to need this. Now, this has some information about our program, and it has our first activity or experiment and our second activity or experiment, and it has some recommended books that you might want to check out at the library if you like science experiments, and then a couple coloring sheets. Okay, so I hope you enjoy your packet. I'm going to be following it a little bit as I talk to you. When you do your experiments, please follow it because it's really clear what you're supposed to do. Okay, now let's see, we have paper towel. And you are going to need this for both experiments. So tear it into 2 pieces. And then you have enough for both experiments. Okay? Okay, what else? We have a red paper plate. I'm going to set that down. Oh, this is important. You always get one of these. It says snap a pic. And we really, really, really want you to snap a pic. Have the adults take a picture of you while you're interacting with the video, or while you're making your experiments, because we love to see pictures of you doing what we create for you, and we love to share them on social media. So snap a pic and send it to me. Okay, what else is in here? Ah, some little pieces of paper. Okay, I'm going to set those with that red plastic plate because I know they go with that experiment. Now my kid has 2 cookie cutters, and I'm not really sure why, but I have a funny little star and a really nice circle. So I'm going to set them over in a different pile because they're not for the same experiment as the plate and the papers. Finally, you're going to find this. Now, there's all kinds of good stuff in here. Let's look and see, and we'll separate it, okay? This blue that you will find in a little container is Dawn dish soap. And we want to put that with the red plate, okay? The milk's going to be for both of them. So we'll put that in the middle. We'll put our paper towels. Okay, what else is in here? Oh, this one. This is white vinegar. It's going to smell a little bit like pickles, maybe. Something you might have in your kitchen, but we're going to use it for the experiment with the cookie cutters. Okay. Let's see, there's a piece of string in here. Maybe I can get it out. That's a nice long piece of string. We're going to put it with the cookie cutters too. And when I pulled that out, I dropped something, so let's do that next. You will find 3 maybe Q-tips. I'm going to put them with the red plate. Okay, what else? A toothpick. I'm going to put that with the cookie cutters. And finally, you have 3 bottles of food coloring. Now, adults and kids, listen carefully. If you drip this on your clothes, on your brand new white t-shirt, or on the carpet, you might not be able to get it out. So please be careful with the food coloring. Now, Miss Shannon told me when she was working on the kits that she gave me yucky colors because she wanted you guys to have all the good colors. So I got a green brown and a brown brown, and then I got an orangish red, which will be a really good one. So since she gave me yucky colors, so you guys got all the good ones, which is okay with me. I'm good with that. I got out my family package of food coloring. And if you have food coloring in your house and you want more colors, you can use regular old food coloring too. Okay? Now, when you're done with our craft today, save that food coloring because I find that we use it fairly often in our Clearview Homeschoolers Academy, or you might use it when you're baking or something. Okay? Okay. Now, there's some things that you need to gather from at home. So let's start a strainer. This is kind of important. Now, if you don't have a strainer, you probably will be able to do what you need to do with paper towel, but a strainer is really going to help. And you'll notice this is a really fine strainer. It's wire mesh, and so it's going to really filter out all the water and let all the solids stay in it. I used this, I think, last time or the time before. Okay. Measuring spoons. We need these pretty often, too. And we're especially going to use the big one, which is a tablespoon. Okay. A 1 cup measuring cup. We're going to use this for the milk. Okay. Okay, you think we're ready to get started? Okay, now, I don't want to do the experiments in front of you, partly because I don't think you'll really be able to see, but partly because I want you to be surprised and fascinated by the results. And if you see what happens, it's not going to be as fun for you. So I'm just going to go through each of the processes for the experiments, and then you will be able to use your handout and do the experiments yourself. Okay? So I'm going to set this one aside. For this one, okay, I always do this. You guys know it. I need a small glass bowl. So stay there. Don't leave. I'm going to get a bowl. Okay, I have a small glass bowl. And actually, we don't need it for this one, but we definitely need it for this one. Okay? Okay. Now, for this experiment, you are going to clear everything off your plate. And you're going to pour 1 cup of the whole milk onto that plate. Okay? Now, if the plate isn't quite big enough for that whole cup of milk, it's okay. You can use a little bit less. Just so that that milk is sitting in this plate and it's easy for you to not spill it. Of course, don't try to walk around with it because I would spill it if I walked around with it. Okay, you have the milk on there. Then you are going to drip just a few drops of your colors of food coloring, whatever colors you want, onto the milk. And I believe when you look at your handout, this picture is what it looks like after you have dropped the little dots of food coloring onto the top of the milk. Now don't stir it, don't slosh it around, don't try to get it to mix. Just put a few drops of the different colors on the surface of the milk. Okay? Now comes the fun part. You are going to get a Q-tip and your Dawn dish soap. And you're going to dip your Q-tip in, and then you're going to touch the surface of the milk with the Q-tip that has Dawn dish soap in it. Just little bits of it. I mean, you can saturate it pretty much, but then just touch it and touch it. You might need to get a little more. Touch it again and watch what happens. Because I don't really want to tell you what happens because it's like magic, okay? So you're going to watch what happens on that milk, and when you are happy with the way it looks, then you can take your pieces of paper, and you can do several of these, okay? And you can lay them on the top of that milk dish soap food coloring, and then pull them out and lay them on your paper towel. Okay? Now, don't get them really soppy wet. Just kind of dip them and get them out. Don't dip them all the way down in it. Just the top and off you go. Because if you use your paper and you kind of mix it around, it's not going to be near as cool. Okay? You know how when you mix all different colors together, what color do you get? Does anybody know? You almost always get the color of brownish, grayish, muddy color. And it is not pretty. So don't let those colors get mixed up. Just leave them alone. Take it off. Let them dry. It'll take them a little while to dry, and then you're going to see what that looked like on your milk. Okay? Now, why does this happen? What are the ingredients that we are using for this experiment? We're using food coloring, but that's basically just color with water. So, I don't know, milk, and we're using whole milk, which has lots of fat in it, and we're using dish soap. And our experiment is to show us what happens when milk and dish soap come together. Okay? And I did put something in your handout about how I think that your adults in your house should have you do dishes for the week so that you can see what happens with soap and fat. Because the soap helps break the fat and remove it. And that's why it does what it does on the plate. So make sure you do the dishes, okay? I was just kidding, but you might want to. Okay? Okay, so that's the first experiment. And that is an experiment with milk with the fat in the milk. Okay? Now, our next experiment is we're going to make plastic from milk, okay? And it's not real plastic, but you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It really seems like plastic. So, let me move this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to move my stuff over here for our plastic milk experiment. Okay? We have a bowl. You are going to put about a cup of milk into that little glass bowl. And if you want to, you can add 1 drop of food coloring. You won't need very much. Just a little bit of food coloring. And then you are going to add 4 tablespoons of vinegar, which is in this little clear container. Okay? Now, when you do that, it's going to make plastic. Now, what is it that makes it turn into plastic? It's because the vinegar, the acid in the vinegar, reacts to the protein in the milk. Remember, we talked about protein. So it makes it all glom up together, and then it'll harden and make a kind of a plastic. So we have a cup of milk in here. We have 4 tablespoons of vinegar. We stir it up, and it's going to form all these little clots of plastic, I guess. And then you're going to stir it for about a minute, okay? Now, I just realized I forgot to tell you something important, but it doesn't matter because you'll be able to do this when you do it. When you have the cup of milk in here, before you add the vinegar, put it in the microwave and get it warm. It doesn't have to be hot, just nice and warm, okay? But don't let it boil. And then you add the vinegar, okay? Sorry about that. Add your food coloring. Stir it for a minute, and the milk will start to clump as it reacts with the protein in the milk, okay? Then you're going to pour this mess through your strainer. I would say over the kitchen sink, okay? Pour it in there, and all those clumps of plastic are going to be stuck in your strainer. And you're going to push and you're going to press it out with your fingers and push all that liquid that's left over out of there so that this clumpy stuff is kind of gets drier, okay? It's not going to get completely dry. After you've used the strainer, you can use the paper towel. Dump it in the paper towel and squeeze it around, and the paper towel will take some more of the moisture out, okay? Then you can put your cookie cutters down. You might want to put them on a plate or something like that that you can use to be underneath. Probably be okay on your countertop too, but maybe not. You know, maybe a plastic bag or a piece of wax paper. You set your cookie cutter down and you take that plastic out of the strainer and just pack it into that cookie cutter. Now, it doesn't need to fill clear to the top of the cookie cutter. Just enough like you would have a cookie about that thick. But really press it down and make it stick together and stick on that. So it makes this gorgeous circle like this cookie cutter. If you want to be able to hang this when it's dry, you can use the toothpick and make a little hole in it so that when it dries it has a hole. And that's why we gave you some of the string, is you could make a keychain or an ornament to hang up or a necklace or whatever you want to do with yours. Now, you may have enough plastic to make several circles, or you might want to make some beads and use your toothpick to make holes in the beads, or you might want to try to build something with it, kind of like it's clay. It's not going to feel exactly like clay, but you can kind of make different shapes and stuff out. Okay, you could use a knife and make triangles or squares if you wanted to, and just press it down and get that moisture out with the paper towel. Okay, that is your milk plastic. So I hope you have fun doing that experiment with protein and acid and vinegar to see what you can make. Okay, now one other little trick if you want to make your milk plastic more than one color, you can, once you have the milk warmed up, you could put it in 2 separate containers and put half of the vinegar in one and half of the vinegar in the other. You'll have to do a little bit of math to do that. And then you could make 2 different colors. So you'd have to have 2 glass bowls. Okay? You could even maybe put the 2 different colors together and see if you get a marbled effect or a little bit of a blotchy difference in color. So you can experiment a little bit with your color. Don't use too much food coloring. It's going to stick all over your hands. Your hands might stay a different color for a couple of days. You might have purple hands. But don't use too much because it'll just take over and it'll get so dark you can't even tell it has food coloring. Okay, so that's a little trick for you. You do need to let your milk plastic ornaments dry, sometimes as long as 2 days. So put them on a piece of paper or a piece of the paper towel and set them up away and just ignore them for a couple days so that they can really get dry and hard. And then you can go take them out and figure out what you're going to do with them. Okay? Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy these 2 experiments. I think they're super fun ones, and I think you're going to have a good time. Make sure you're following the directions, that you're being safe, that you have an adult helping you with things like the microwave. And then when you're all done, explore some more and enjoy your coloring sheets. Okay? Okay, thank you for coming today. Make sure you've got milk and have a good time. Stay healthy and happy. Bye-bye. Thank you. Stay healthy and happy. Bye-bye. Thank you.